All right, time for another GB Studio tutorial. We're making our top-down Zelda style game, and in our last tutorial, we worked on this Odin level, which allowed Thor to go up, get a hammer, and then to be able to throw the hammer, and you could also talk to Odin in there who tells you to how to use the hammer and to take out enemies. So for today's tutorial, we're going to work on this key level. Um, we'll begin kind of here in the main area, and I'll add an actor here. And this actor is going to be a blob. It might actually be better if I animate this blob so it's not just sitting still right there. You know what I'm saying? So to do that, we'll go over here to our sprites, and I'll find my blob pixel that we entered in here, and where we have idle, I believe that's idle right in there, and this is the first frame. I'm just going to add a second frame, and I'll put that on there like so, and go back here to our game world, and we'll save that. And just to test that out real quick, we'll run play to make sure that that is the correct animation, that it's what actually here right that the blob is facing. All right, now we'll run the program. Okay, there we go. So we have that blob that's kind of in the way, and so I thought that would be a good way, when we first play the game, if we just try running into the blob without the hammer, then it's like your character dies. It's like, what do we need to do? Oh, we need to go up here and we need to get this hammer to use to destroy it. All right, so we'll click save. And for right now, I'm not going to incorporate a whole system of how many lives. We did do that in a previous tutorial, and eventually I probably will have something where our character can get hit so many times. But for right now, I'll give this blob a 2. I'll give all of my enemies a collision group of 2 at this point in the game, because our hammer, I think, is a collision group 1, I believe. So that'll work for that. And then we'll say on hit with player, what's going to happen. Then we are going to change scene, and it's just going to be automatically a game over. So what scene are we going to go to? We'll go to our title scene, and then that is going to change our hammer variable back to 0. The hammer's back here um, in the room, and everything should be as the game originally started. All right, so I'm gonna run this, and if I just run into him right away, we'll make sure it changes the scene. Yep. And I'll go up here, grab the hammer. Now if I run into him, go here, and the hammer's back, and I can't throw the hammer. So that's how I want that to happen. And actually, you know what would even be better? Instead of just going back to that scene, I think we may have actually made a scene already. We do have an end scene, so that's even better. So what we'll do is we'll click on this, and instead of going back to the title scene, we can go to our scene 7, and we'll call that end. We'll just call it end level. I'll take out the letters. All right. Now We have the end level, it takes us there, and we'll add an event here. We want to deactivate that arrow that's in there, so we'll type in actor and search for deactivate actor. And then the other thing we want to do is search for button and attach script to button. So we'll go start. And then what's going to happen, we are then going to change scene. Scene we're going to is going to be the title. So when we run into the enemy, it takes us here to the end level, so we know the game is over. Press start, it takes us back to the beginning title on there, and we kind of have that little loop of events that can happen with that. If you don't have your game over screen done, you can still just have it go up here, or you could even trigger a dialogue and just say the game is over and then take it back to start. You could do something like that too. Okay, so this looks good. We need some way to take out this enemy so we can enter our key level. So we'll select on this here, and we have these events, and we have hammer, which is our projectile, and the hammer is a collision group of 3. So we gave the collision group of 3 for the hammer, and we're going to say that this is a collision group 2. So we'll say collide with, what are the things it's going to collide with? For right now, we could say it collide with everything except for the player. All right, so that way we don't have to worry about it running into us or anything, especially if still we have it spawning on top of our body where it's appearing. So that should be good. And well, we'll remove 3 because the hammer itself is collision. So we'll take that off for now. So that's on there. With this character here, we could say on hit with the player, that's what's going to happen. But then what's going to happen if it hits our collision group 3, which is our projectile? We're going to add an event, and we can deactivate the actor. And let's give that a try. Running our program, we'll come up here. We have our hammer, go down here, we destroy it, and then we can enter into this room. Okay, now in here, for this room, I thought it would be kind of cool if we had another enemy in here, and this enemy is kind of patrolling, I guess. So in here, we'll go up to add and add another actor. And then this is going to be another blob. And we'll give this blob a collision group of 2, just like our other one. Try to be consistent with that. On here, we can go to on update, and we will add an event. We'll say move to, we're looking for actor move to. All right, now the way we can do this, you'll see when you hover the mouse over these, there's a little red rectangle that appears in the upper left-hand corner of our key. I can't really hover here and then mouse over to it because it disappears, but it'll show up right here. My mouse over here, it's this. This is the position of where we are moving that creature to. So I can increase the X or decrease the X depending where I want it to go. And when I want to move the y coordinates, it's different than what you'd think. Y positive is down. And so that's going to move our character from where it's starting position to this location right here. All right. Then I am going to copy this event, and then I'll go back to this arrow again, and I'll go paste event after. And then on this one, I can lower the Y, and it's going to move there. So the first movement is to here. The next movement is to here. And then I will copy that event and paste event after. I will increase the X here to where it's in the same position right there. Copy event and paste event after. Then this one, we will increase the Y and go back to our original position. So this character is going to be moving around this area, and we'll just kind of, I guess, pretend that it is guarding a key. So go here again and we'll add this actor. We'll just put it right in the middle of this as best we can. And this actor can be a key. So if I go over here on hit with the player, change scene, it's going to go to the end level. And then when it collides with group 3, which is our projectile, we're going to deactivate the actor. All right, and then the next thing we want to do is on this key here, we can give this key a collision group, and we'll have it be a collision group of 1, because I think that's what we did for the hammer up here. Yep, we did. So this key is a collision group of 1. Here we go. When it is on contact with the player, then we want to deactivate the key so it disappears. And then just like we did before, we want this to be tied to a variable like we did up here, something saying we have the key. All right, so with our hammer up here, the one we used was set a variable to true. So we'll do something similar to that, and it will also be a global variable. And I'll add event, set variable to true. And then we go here and I scroll down to my global variables. I'm going to just choose my next unnamed global variable, which is variable 1. And then I'll click the little pencil here and we'll call this one key. So setting variable to key. All right, now also with the hammer up here, we had this level and we said if hammer is true, hammer is deactivated. So in this level here, then we can add this event down here and we will go if true. So if variable is true, and the variable we're looking for in this one is going to be key. If the key is true, we're going to deactivate an actor, and that is going to be our key, and we'll put that up here at the very top. All right, now because that's a global variable, and when we restart the game or after our character comes into contact with an enemy, we want to change that at the very beginning of this game to where on init, like this one up here, we said hammer is equal to false. So we want to add an event. Then we want to search for set variable set to false. And this one is going to be the key. So that way it restarts our game and it allows the key to show up again um, when the game's restarted. Okay, looking back at this, one last thing um, we need to say it can also collide with number 2 on here because that is our enemy with that. I did just get to thinking about that. All right, so we'll click save. When we run this again, run our program, we'll go up here, grab our hammer, take that out. So this creature is moving pretty fast in there. We have this key that goes in here. When we leave, this enemy comes back. So that might be something that you kind of just, it depends on what you want to do. You know, you can set those equal to a variable to where if it's gone, it doesn't come back. In a lot of those older games, the enemies do come back, and it just, you know, kind of allows the challenge to be a little greater. You just want to make sure, like we did here, that we're not spawning um, back into where that enemy is. So we ran into the enemy there. Now I want to go grab this hammer, and I want to make sure that that key shows back up, and it does. Okay, so um, either way, you can kind of do that how you want to with it, but that's kind of how that works. Now, like I said, that enemy is moving pretty fast. So you can actually go up here and you can change the animation speed of it, which I don't think the animation speed is too terrible for is kind of normal. But maybe we want the speed of that enemy to be a little bit slower. And we'll try this again. Grab this. There we go. And now that creature is moving a little bit better in there. Another thing I might do, like I noticed when my character was coming in here, when it went through this door, he's facing down, I think. So if I click on this, I might say I want to switch the position of my character to facing right. It's a real minor thing, but just there we go. Throws that the right way when we're in there. I do think that works pretty well. So we have a few enemies on here that we created. We have a stationary blob that's just kind of animating here. And then we have another one that's patrolling around a key. Next time we're on here is we'll have a different enemy movement over here. And we also need to have a way to where this door only unlocks if we have the key. And if we try to enter it without the key, then we get a message saying that we need a key. So that's kind of what you have to look forward to the next time. But I think this gives you a few fun things to kind of play around with now where we actually have some challenges to our game. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments. Again, I appreciate you watching and love the feedback we're getting, and we'll get you on the next video.